What's going on, everybody? Have you noticed a lot of for sale signs in your neighborhood? Or maybe a lot of new neighbors moving into your apartment complex or trailer park over the past year? Well, according to the United States Postal Service, permanent address change requests have skyrocketed over the last couple of years. And that thing that shut the world down a few years ago, along with a few other factors, gave Americans a lot of time to reflect and consider their happiness and options. Over the past several years, it's estimated that more than 30 million people will have moved at least once, with most of those moves being to other states. There are varied reasons for these moves, and today we'll be giving you a look at those reasons and the 10 states that everyone in America is packing up and getting the heck out of. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Colorado. With the beautiful Rocky Mountains, the greater Denver area, and nearly 32 million acres of farmland, Colorado is a diverse state with a lot to offer. The loving residents of the state will boast of everything from the progressiveness of the state in recent years to the multiple professional athletic teams hosted in the state. But all that diversity and tourism has a darker side. Political diversity and desire for progress have caused the state to lean a bit to the political left in recent years. While many see this as good, the traditionally conservative population of Colorado does not. And the recent shifting of political ideologies for the state is said to have contributed in no small part to the shifting population. And many right-leaning citizens of the state have decided that their values are better represented in red states and have taken it upon themselves to move there. Other and more common reasons these days, however, are the high cost of living and ridiculously high real estate prices, as many middle-class families simply can no longer afford the Centennial State. Add to that the increasing homeless population along with the increased crime rates and pollution, and you have the perfect recipe for a mass exodus from this Buffalo state. Wyoming. The Equality State is the epitome of American natural beauty. With sprawling blue lakes, gorgeous snow-tipped mountains, and a population of wildlife, it's a regular destination for millions of nature lovers across America. However, this peaceful way of living isn't for all. Unless you work remotely, many living in Wyoming find opportunities for reliable work to be too far and few between. The largest city is Cheyenne, with a population of only around 64,000. And even with a low cost of living, low taxes, and low housing rates, there's still only so much hiking, fishing you can do before the absence of neighbors begins to affect your mental state of mind. Also, despite being such a large state and area, its population is dwarfed by even that of Rhode Island, making many very aware of the lack of diversity despite being called the Equality State. And with that lack of diversity, it doesn't exactly entice potential residents to emigrate, nor does it give those of diverse backgrounds much reason to want to stay in an environment where they already feel like a bison roaming the streets of New York City. Washington. Named for the first president of the country, the state of Washington has always been a bright example of American ingenuity. From Bill Gates to Kurt Cobain, the innovations to emerge from the state have revolutionized their respective fields. But what if those revolutionary ideas could have all been expedited from the comforts of their innovators' own homes? Well, that's the reality that the pandemic and the increase in remote work made apparent to the American population. In cities like Seattle, where overcast skies and rainy days are common, seasonal depression is definitely real. So many who love their work but dislike the local weather now have the opportunity to have the best of both worlds by working remotely and moving wherever they want, which in many cases are places with more sunshine and less chance of wildfires whenever you do get those couple of weeks of sunshine. Add to all of this a housing crisis and a skyrocketing cost of living in the evergreen state, and it's no wonder why so many are taking the option to move to more affordable and climate-friendly environments. Pennsylvania. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania was the second state and as such is one of the most enticing. Whether you're strolling through historic Philadelphia, industrious Pittsburgh, or the capital of Harrisburg, there are many options for a spacious urban life. And for those looking for more rural scenery, the Pennsylvania Dutch country will take you back to a simpler time before electronics and social media clouded everyday life. But with those urban settings, it was easy for a pandemic to lead to massive job losses. From February to April 2020, an estimated 1 million non-farming jobs were lost. And even after the pandemic was relatively subdued, many of those industries in the major cities couldn't bounce back, leaving still a large unemployment rate. Add to that the high cost of living in most of those cities, and it seems that leaving the Keystone State is simply the best option for a large portion of the industrial work-based population. And while rural living may seem like a nice alternative in these conditions, Pennsylvania isn't known for always having the nicest or most consistent weather. Blizzards in winter and occasional heavy bouts of rain in spring can quickly turn a farming community on its heads for a season. In these conditions, though difficult to say the least, moving your farming operation to somewhere more temperate can be awfully tempting, even for families who have only known one area for generations. Massachusetts. Ivy-covered buildings, prestigious universities, grassy and spacious suburbs, what's not to love about Massachusetts? Being a modern symbol of American grace and elegance, the capital Boston looms over the country as a historic representation of liberty. Unfortunately, for the not-so-well-off population of the Bay State, the grace, elegance, and historical significance all come with a hefty price tag. Many who try living in Massachusetts find that price unreasonable, to say the least. Between 2020 and February of this year, the state has lost 110,000 more residents than it's gained. The cost of housing and the cost of living was cited as the main reasons. One family who moved to a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota from Massachusetts said that the colonial-style home they purchased for the high $500,000 would easily have cost double that anywhere in their home state. Another factor for many is simply how densely packed the East Coast areas are. The uptick in remote now work allows them to leave these areas and relocate to more suburban lifestyles beyond the crowded cities. Michigan. Home of the Motor City and potentially the most mechanical state in the country, Michigan was always a powerhouse of industry. Henry Ford and General Motors made Detroit and Flint prosperous cities where opportunity met determination, and for decades, thousands of the state's residents were able to provide good middle-class lifestyles for their families. But those opportunities dried up a long time ago in the Wolverine state. So, of course, the main reason reported for Michigan residents wanting to leave were for job opportunities. Other reasons included retirement, wanting to be closer to family, and wanting a change in lifestyle. And though recent years have shown a trend of many people wanting to move away from big industrial cities and move to more suburban and rural areas, in Michigan's case, the fall of its massive automobile industry years ago is still having an effect on its economy and ability to retain its citizens. Illinois. Chicago itself has definitely received a reputation for heavy crime and even opposition to gentrification, but the state of Illinois has still had a proud history of progressive thinking. It's a state whose residents have grown accustomed to the harsh winters and frustrating traffic as well. Even their athletic teams consider the harsh weather a home field advantage, so what changed? Where has the Prairie State's pride gone? Well, worse than when a great amount of the population's income is low-paying jobs is when there aren't many jobs at all. Illinois has seen a sharp decrease in available work for all levels of employment, blue-collar and white. Even worse yet, most people leaving the state have a reported income of $150,000 or more, leaving the major tax burden on the remaining lower-income residents. When people must look elsewhere or remotely for work, what reason would they have to still stick out the bad weather, crime, and traffic? And dating back to even before 2020, Illinois has seen 9 consecutive years of population loss. Well, looks like the Cubs aren't the only ones consistently losing. California. California is one of the most diverse states in the country. From the beautiful vineyards, the mountains, and the farmland of Northern Cali to the multicultural cities of Southern California and their gorgeous beaches, this state has long been a dream destination for many. People may have originally come for the gold rush, but they found thousands of reasons to stay after that. In 2023, however, they're finding a few reasons to leave the Golden State. In the bigger cities of the state, you find a majorly left-swinging population, and in the north and more rural areas, you find a majorly right-swinging population. Whereas communities like San Diego, being largely populated by immigrants, may want to be more inclusive and assist in refugee crisis or similar situations. Communities that aren't quite so inclusive or who mistrust an influx of new people begin to take issue with policies that do so, and many are choosing to leave the state for their beliefs. But this political divide is in no way the only nor biggest cause for the losses, as many residents and companies alike continue to flee due to the increasing tax rates, insanely high cost of living, and the increase in wildfires in the Golden State. New York. Like California and others on the list, New York is a very diverse state in every way. When most people think of New York, they see the sprawling metropolis full of many independent cultures co-inhabiting, thousands of food options, endless work opportunities, yellow cabs, and buildings that touch the clouds. While others will think of Niagara Falls and the Adirondack Mountains and millions of acres of farmland. And as we've already seen with states like California and Colorado, politics in states like this can play a large part in people's desire to move. But also, like those states, the high cost of living and high taxes are really the biggest reasons for the change. Since for years, a big complaint were the huge tax breaks for high earners, a federal cap for state and local taxes in 2018 raised the top rate by over 3%. And while that sounded good to many because that meant the rich would have to carry more of the burden, the cap combined with a 2021 tax bump made many of the richer New Yorkers load up their private jets and depart the state for good. This left the burden on the lower income residents who remained and gives many just one more reason to pack their bags and leave the Empire State. New Jersey. Home to beautiful beaches, the Atlantic boardwalk, and every type of food a foodie could get, there is much love about the Garden State. Existing as a bridge between the Atlantic Ocean and the metropolis that is New York, New Jersey has always been home to those that love the city life but want to be just far enough away to breathe. But is it really that breathable in New Jersey? Being one of the most densely populated states, it's also home to many issues we've seen prevalent on this very list. From a divide in politics and a high cost of living, the state isn't worth living in to many people anymore. Add onto this the chilly weather and the fact that it's one of the most tax-burdened states in the country, and it's easy to see why so many residents have tired of their state. For the 5th straight year, New Jersey was found to have more outbound residents than any other state, and unless drastic tax policy and cost of living changes are made, which, sorry folks, this definitely won't be happening, it's going to be pretty hard to stop the losses. Well folks, that does it for this video. Let us know in the comment section what you think about our list and if you have any recommendations for other topics you'd like to see us cover. We hope you enjoyed the video and ask only that you please do us a favor and like, subscribe, and turn on your post notification if you appreciate this kind of content and would like to see more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.